Evan Dermont is a 19-year-old business management student and competitive freestyle skier. He started down this path when he was a kid. Skiing began as a fun activity to keep himself busy, but soon it became a big part of his life.
I went into ski school, and then from there I just couldn't stop jumping off of stuff. And then actually my ski school instructor referenced me to the freestyle team there called the flight team. And then from there I tried out. They're like, okay, you can be on the team. And then from there it all just kind of blossomed, I guess.
While Evan was on Team Canada, he was given the opportunity to go and train in Quebec with Canada's top coaches and skiers. It was there where he started to struggle with his mental health.
It was definitely depression and anxiety. I was having a hard time finding joy in a lot of things, and I did not feel like myself. I felt completely different when I looked in the mirror.
Even with the recognition, trophies, and medals, Evan still felt defeated.
You're going through the motions of the entire day, and even if I was completing stuff and making achievements throughout the entire day, I'd come home and still feel defeated that I don't even know what I'd feel defeated about. I just felt like I didn't accomplish anything, and I felt like I would just get super down on myself, and then the next day would start and it'll just kind of be going through the motions again. So,
due to the pressures, he reached his breaking point far away from home.
it was in December last year. I was in Finland, and I was too stressed out. I did not want to be there. I didn't talk to anyone. I was just completely just hid in my shell, and I had one bad day of training. I can't do this right now. I can't be here. This is dangerous for me. This is not good for me physically or mentally. I have to leave. So I did talk to my coach, and I'm like, I have to go home.
Evan was battling with his depression and anxiety. He had support from his family, especially his sister Amelia, who also battled through mental health concerns when she was boxing for Team Canada.
It was a really sad time, and I felt like I was too far away to do anything, and I was trying to call him, but then I would get very frustrated when he wouldn't take my advice, because I'm like, oh, I've been there, I know what I'm doing, but it is different for everyone, and everyone deals with it in their own way.
When Evan was able to come home, he was welcomed home with open arms by his family members and parents. This is when he started to win his battle against anxiety and depression.
Coming home and getting a hug from your parents, there's nothing better than that, and nothing more comforting than that. And when you feel like everything is kind of collapsing and crushing you, it's you just want something comforting. So.
Sadly, Evan and Amelia are not the only ones struggling with mental health concerns. From influential athletes like U.S. Olympic gymnast Simone Biles, Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps, and Japanese tennis player Naomi Osaka, to less renowned athletes like Daniel Semen, a former competitive basketball player who played at St. Marcellinus High School. During his time at St. Marcellinus, Daniel withstood the pressures of being a competitive athlete, developing depression and anxiety. Being a team captain didn't make him feel on top of the world.
For a moment in time, I was captain of the team, so it's like you're captain of the high school team. You should be king of the world, right? Everyone loves you, but that's not always the case. I think that the pressures that come with being this role model or someone that people look up to, it's hard to live up to, especially when you're not mature enough or understand in the moment how important it is just to appreciate what you have and to enjoy the moment.
For Daniel, things got worse, and hitting rock bottom made him reflect on his life and how he wanted to get better.
I really had to take a good reflection on my life and look back at things that were happening, because at that point in time, I didn't have very good habits. Even though I was a phenomenal basketball player, I was 300 pounds, I was overweight, which probably was the reason why I hurt my leg. And I just had to realize that, you know what, Daniel, this is a wake-up call to reset for your life. You got to fix yourself up.
In recent years, there has been more research regarding athletes and their mental health. The University of Toronto found that the most common mental health disorders suffered by athletes are anxiety, depression, sleep disturbance, and feeling of distress. 30% of women and 25% of men who are student athletes report having anxiety. Dr. Beth McCharles works with multiple athletes who suffer from a variety of mental health concerns. She tries to implement strategies for her patients to use on a continuous basis.
It's not an overnight thing, that's for sure, but it's kind of figuring out behavior modification at specific times during your performance. So understanding perspective, like why you're getting nervous. Is it high expectations on yourself? Is it other people putting this on you? So you have to understand the foundation of why it's happening. And then you have to understand when it's happening to yourself, and then what is happening to yourself. And then that's where we do behavior modification of like changing habits of like, okay, well, as soon as I start the game, I get really, really nervous and I want to throw up. Well, that's the trigger that we need to change, and then we bring in a coping mechanism. So it could be perspective of life in a bigger picture, it could be breathing, it could be self-awareness, or positive affirmations to themselves in that particular moment.
Like Dr. McCharles's patients, Evan tries to do similar things when coping with his mental health.
Like I work out. I actually went rock climbing earlier today. I've been putting more time into my school as well, and that's actually been really gratifying. And coming from like when I was just really sport focused, it was hard like to put time and effort into school. So now I'm kind of feeling gratification from school. So that's a cool feeling.
Recently, more and more funding and support has been directed by sports organizations to better help athletes work through their mental health concerns. Dr. Judy Goss, a mental health expert who works with high-performance athletes, feels that with more funding and resources being directed to athletes, they are slowly getting the help they need.
I mean, they only have so much money to employ or provide service for a number of people. It's just like in anything, we just need more funding so we can have more people available and then provide more service.
After getting help from a therapist, Evan is currently using the coping mechanisms he learned to better his mental health.
Like there's definitely sometimes where I feel like there's just something missing, but not really. No. I feel very happy. I'm really happy where I'm at in school, where I'm at socially, like where I'm at like physically as well. So no complaints.
Now that Evan has been away from skiing for a while, he now understands that he should have gotten help earlier when dealing with his battle with mental health.
I think I personally, I should have just reached out for help sooner. I felt like I had no support system out there, so I thought to myself, why even bother? But there are different support systems if you do look for them.
As Evan moves forward, he hopes to see more attention directed to athletes that have mental health concerns. I am Noah Trenton, reporting for Seneca at York News.